Peace, everybody. And we're back. Apologies for the tardiness. No time, but I had a technical difficulty I had to get to right quick. Um, so like I say, we back. We back. After the month break and everything. I will. Everybody had a challenging yet successful and fulfilling challenge, you know what I'm talking about? For sure, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And you recognize some changes, you know what I'm talking about? um but yeah, and give thanks for everybody that came out, showed out, you know what I'm talking about? And we back at it again, you know what I'm talking about? And we gonna get it in like we always do, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna come with it, you know what I'm talking about? So let's go back. We gonna finish where we left off, you know what I'm talking about, with the code of Hammurabi, you know what I'm talking about? So like always, we got slides, for for South for South Harbor. Do we have slides? Yes, I always, we gotta take care of the South, you know what I'm talking about? So yeah. So peace. All right. So yes, we are still on code, and we still talking about it. We gon' like I said, we gonna finish where we left off. And we coming back at it with it, you know what I'm talking about. But peace, my Uber. Um, top tier speakers, So all right. So we still we with this topic, we are on marriage. We're still on marriage. This is a part two, There was so many dang on codes with marriage and family. Man, look, I'm gonna be real honest. I can't cover all them dang on codes. I can't cover. And more importantly, I can cover some, but it's for you to read. If it's that much to you, I'm gonna give you a little bit, but you go on a little further with it. Do your own research. Do your own work. We a community of learners. You know what I'm talking about. But I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do your papers. This. We may be a group. This may be a group session. if you ever been in class and you had a group class and you be that one that everybody looks to do they work. You know what I'm talking about. But peace, master may you let, you know what I'm talking about. And but yeah, so here we go. So, if a woman hate her husband and say, thou shalt not have me, they shall inquire into her antecedents for her defects. And if she have been a careful mistress and he be without reproach, and her husband have been going about and greatly belittling her, that woman has no blame. She shall receive her dowry and shall go to her father's house. So, if they find no fault in you and it's your husband's fault, well, you get to go back to your father's house, your first covering. you just don't get to go out to the streets and have a dang divorce party. Some people do that, with their girlfriends. Yeah, the first part. No, you get your dowry. You don't get no alimony, but you get you get what you came in with, and you go back to your first covering. Where there'll probably be a prospective suitor for you. You know what I'm talking about? You never know. But peace, Albert Ross. Almost said it for sure. But yeah, man. And then, if she have not been a careful mistress now, have gathered about, have neglected her house, and have belittled her husband, they shall throw that woman into the water. I just man, when I saw that, you gotta put the spin on, that song comes by. Take me to throw it to the river, man. Hey, son. If you, but you know what? Consequence, swift consequence. You know, swift consequence. Unlike in today's society, there's no swift consequence. You know where, and there's fault. There's fault, and then there's fault with what the woman, and you know, in Western society, especially today in Western society. Oh, it's not your fault. Even if you are at fault, it's not your fault. You know, but here, at least. In the time frame, you know, there is fault and there is consequence, and that consequence be swift. So that sort of lets you know where maybe a digression or a progression in sort of a sociological aspect in that relationship between women and law and marriage and women in law, in a sense. If you want to go there, you know what I'm saying? Let me get. Okay. Emma Kira Eden says, you know, throw her into the water because she is useless, cause and effect in the true system. Yeah. You can't. I can, you know, we she's useless. You know what I'm saying? She neglect her house, which is her domain and everything. She neglects all that. She can't do it. She belittles her husband, you know, just all out of pocket. You know what I'm talking about? Just all out of pocket. You know, what could, you know, more than you realize, you know, earth the good at all. You know me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just throwing in water. You know. Into the sea. Okay. I wonder how the conduct of a wife would improve if this was today's scandal. Oh man, Emmy Kira, man. Whew, there'll be that won't be a 180, there'll be a 360, a 720. Be a 720. You know what I'm talking about? That'd be oh, you may get the you may get the coming to America treatment. What do you like? Whatever you like. Burn it up. that river be cold. Yeah, we look. Hot girl summer will really change. Ooh, don't let it be the winter time. Oh my. Yeah, yes, after you are right. Women would behave themselves. Yes, they will. You know what I'm talking about. Because there is consequence, and correction is better than the consequence. Really. You know, they would rather be corrected than to face the consequences. You know, they don't want to do the time. They don't. Okay. Now, if a man take a wife and she do not present him with children, and he set his face to take a concubine, that man may take a concubine and bring her into his house. That concubine shall not rank with his wife. I got jokes. So you know, if you want to bring the side into the you know, hey, you know, my wife, you know, we've been trying, but she ain't, you know, got that button in the oven or whatever. You know, she ain't been prego, you know what I'm talking about. So I need, you know, I need a concubine, man. But hey, you know, there's order, you know. You don't think just because you come into the household, chick, you rank with we equal now. See, balance. There's balance within this, you know, the ancient textual law of the Code of Hammurabi, which is nice, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, ego, you know, chick thinks she come to the house like I'm running things, you know, man. sometimes you really get the feel of that if you watch like Eastern Asian television. You know what I'm talking about? And you see the new concubine comes in or whatever, or in the imperial harem, right? The new concubine come in, and she thinks she ranked, because she's the emperor's favorite. She thinks she ranks, equal with the empress, right? And then she comes to find out how wrong she was. Told you them girl gangs, man, them girl gangs. Sovereignty say, sink or swim, but to the water you would go. Man, for yourself, I guess. Truthfully, the modern version of throwing a wife away may be legal separation, divorce, walking out and never looking back. That wouldn't even be the. I wouldn't. Well, in the terms of this context, that's not even a good legal separation. Because what the divorce, walking out and never looking back comes with a swift consequence if you are a man, and it comes with a repetitive consequence if you have to pay financial restitution to somebody you just want to part ways with. You still paying, and then you stress, just a lot, just like it's the gift. Look, where's the divorce? The gift that keeps on giving. You know what I'm talking about? Storyman, gee, like, okay, that's the talk about the story being loud, right? Let's put it like this. Okay, for those who don't know, there's Storyman Line, right? Okay. If I get into it, okay. Well, Master Man, let's talk about like in like the first, we gonna say 30 episodes, right? It goes with this girl named Milan, and she's a she's like the daughter of the fourth wife of her father, right? Low on the totem pole, right? But what I'm saying, there's a hierarchy, right? He has his first wife, his legal wife, and then he has his favorite, which is the number two. There was what's my last? She should have been the fourth one, because they always called her fourth. There may have been I don't know what happened to the third, but that's the deal there. But the favorite, right? The favorite was always sort of thought she was equal in the household, right? And she tried to put her daughter up above even the legal children of the first wife. She thought she was equal until she found out. I ain't gonna tell the whole show until she finds out. You know what I'm saying? How cold it get, when you get exiled to from the city and die alone. It, man, it's a long story. But Master Man like know it. But man, it be shady, But she thought she was, the principal wife. You know what I'm saying? Running things because she was the favorite. You know what I'm saying? And oh man, but good harem political intrigue and things like that. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. Okay. Now if a man give to his wife, field, garden, house, or good, and he delivered to her a sealed deed after the death of her husband, her children cannot make claim against her. Her children cannot make claim against her to mother after her death. That's how I couldn't. I'm taking it straight from the book because I was like, where's the? That's how it's written. But after her death, it may include her children, her child, whom she loves, but to her brother, she may not. So that means if you got any household siblings, looking for you, looking for, you to give them some, like, oh, trying to take something that, is not, theirs. This law applies, because, you got outside siblings, that will go over the children of said parent, or said union and think that they owed something, taking things that don't belong to them. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, man, it sort of also deals with what we'll talk about next strong when it comes to property. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's it was cold. Look, it was cold outside. Look, the chick got pneumonia or something. But she thought, she thought she was running things. And this is nothing. When he found out that she didn't really love him, he became cold as ice. He became, because he used to, well, for those who know, she did a lot of messed up things. Her daughter did a lot of messed up things, and he forgave him. But when he figured out, because he loved her, when he figured out she really didn't love him, like, he became cold as ice. Message. Just saying. Okay. If a woman who dwells in the house of a man make a contract with a husband that a creditor of his may not hold her for his debts and compel him to deliver a written agreement, if that man were in debt before he took that woman, his creditor may not hold his wife. And if that woman were in debt before she entered the house of the man, her creditor may not hold her husband. So, if you are in debt, which, student loans, credit card, whatever, and you come in with that, that's all yours, player. That ain't mine. Don't come to me. Your creditors may not come to me. That's all you. You take care of it. Your creditors cannot come to me as your husband or you as my wife and say, you owe me because your husband owes me. That's another thing you see a day go to East. Usually it's usually I see it with K dramas, but modern, right? You usually, the husband or the wife, goes to, loan sharks and, take out the loan, and then something like they end up dying or whatever and something like that. And then they come after, the husband or the kid, like, you owe now, things like that. But if you came in with all that, financial debt, it's all yours. Shalom, my new radio. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, man. Now here we are. We gonna get into one video. This should be it. Give me a second.
Important fact historically.
For those who don't know, this is about Carl Jung and how how he talks about it. This is a Western
what happened was that we all had neuroses, and we were nice, fat, juicy ones, and we were vibrating like an aeolian harp in a high wind, and very often exacerbated by a marriage relationship.
I have to remember our first appointment because Joe and I went together. And he talked right over the top of my head to Joe, arranging my appointments. And I finally said, well, where do I come in? And he said, oh, that comes later. And I'll never forget that.
Jane and I arrived in Zurich in 1932. We had a very deep bond between the two of us, but we also were very dissimilar. And so we got into horrendous clashes and crashes. We just were anxious to get a hold of something that would give us some tools to work with so that we could resolve these clashes.
I was not so enamored of him at first. I thought the way he talked, no, it was his writing. Of course, it was very intuitive writing, and it wasn't my dish. And I kept thinking, who the hell does he think he is? you know, how does he, how do you know what he's saying? I mean, how does he know what he's saying is right? And I was really very resistant.
It is almost a rule, but I don't want to make too many rules with it. In order not to be schematic,
Yes.
That an introvert marries an extrovert for compensation, or another type marries the counter type to complement himself.
I thought, well, he's just talking through his hat, and I just can't go for that stuff. Until I got in trouble and had him head on, and then, my God, he just made all kinds of sense.
The archetype is a force, it has an autonomy. It can suddenly seize you. It is like a seizure.
Yes.
So, for instance, falling in love at first sight,
Yeah.
that is such a case. You see, you have a certain image in yourself, without knowing it, of the woman, of the woman.
Yes.
Now you see that girl, or at least a good imitation of your type, and instantly you get a seizure, and you're gone. And afterwards, you may discover that it was a hell of a mistake. Or you see, a man is quite capable, he's intelligent enough to see that that woman of his choice, as one says, not no choice, he has been captured.
Yeah.
You know, he sees that she is no good at all,
Yes.
that she is a hell of a business. And he tells me so, and he said, for God's sake, doctor, help me to get rid of that woman. He can't. He's like clay in her fingers. And that is the archetype. That is the so-called archetype of the anima.
Yes. Yes.
He thinks it is all his soul, you know. Like the girls, you know, when a man sings very high,
Yeah.
then he thinks he must have a very wonderful spiritual character because he can sing the high C.
Yes.
And she's badly disappointed when she marries that particular number.
Yes. Well,
That is the archetype of the animus.
Yeah.
This is built right into the center of Jung's whole psychology, that one should develop one's countersexual components, as Margaret Mead so quaintly phrases it. But Jung prefers to talk about the animus and the anima, meaning the feminine side of the masculine side of the woman and the feminine side of the man. And so that all of us who are really committed and involved in the Jungian world are very busy trying to develop our animuses or our animas, and we don't ever expect that it's going to be quite a dead heat and that our voices will alternate from soprano to basso, or that we are going to get a reissue of our vital parts. But on the other hand, we do feel that usually going on a two-step operation, first with the projection of one's anima or one's animus, and then the gradual peeling of it off and taking it back in again and assimilating it and hopefully integrating it into one's consciousness, that this androgynous or almost androgynous state of being is the way one hopes to be before they throw the switch.
In the beginning stages of a relationship, there is generally a lot of projection mixed up with it. And that is responsible for all those love quarrels. I mean, she makes demands which he can't fulfill, and he makes demands she can't fulfill, and animus anima, crossing the swords. And I mean, if you tape record a love quarrel, it's the same all over the world, literally. And that is projection. And if people don't run away, but work it out and take back all what is projection in it, then appears or is peeled out of all this the true relationship. Now, it might be none. And then it would be like the Freudian thing, goodbye, and now I see you simply represented that and that in me, and thank you very much, goodbye. Or there might be a tremendous amount of relationship, true relationship built up, which is not the same thing as projection.
The intensity of our struggle suddenly became clear to me. that Jane had a thinking function developed, and I had a developed feeling function. And of course, that was upside down. Everybody knows that men think and women feel, only what didn't happen to be so.
All right, all right. That was okay. So I use that clip just to show sometimes what's done in Western culture, because there is a lot of projection. There's a lot of projection. Even you spot all these standards, and projection. And then you have that whole. I think is lost, but when you see somebody that you're completely infatuated with, or have some type of feelings, it's like, back in the day where, you watch a movie or something, like one of them teen dramas that, the pretty girl walks in, then the music starts playing, there goes my baby, something like that, whatever song, that be playing in your head or whatever, but so much projection, and then you wonder why it fails, because one cannot keep up with that imaginative projection that you've already placed upon that person, and then there's also the passive aggressive behavior. What I'm saying? The passive aggressive behavior that people do, But as you can see, there was a couple, that were psychoanalysts, that were married, and they were having total big problems, Should they be like they're eating? But man, it goes without saying, what I'm saying. But a lot where there should be balance, it should be balance in a relationship. We ain't talking equality, but there should be a balance. Even Young was talking about balance. If you're an introvert, get with an extrovert. But yeah. All right. This is some statistics. Now you can find all this on the. To me, was weirdly enough, but you can find all of this on the CDC website. If you look at them stats, they're very interesting, especially when you see states withhold information. I was like, man, states got to know snitch policy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But here, wives are the ones who are most often file for divorce at 66% of average. That figure soared to nearly 75% in some years. Also, 50% of all marriages in the United States will end in divorce or separation. And in 2019, the latest data available, the marriage rate in the United States was 6.1 per thousand total population. And then as of 2019, both marriage rates and divorce rates in the U.S. are decreasing, with the marriage rate dropping from 8.2 per thousand people in 2000 to 6.1, and the divorce rate from 4.1 in 2000 to 2.7. Regional studies have shown that millennials are choosing to wait longer to get married and staying longer and staying married longer, and are the main driver in the decline of the marriage divorce rate in the U.S. Hey, take it with a grain. But you have people that be giving all these stats, and they never tell you where to get it from, and two, they never tell you what's really going on. But they're not analysts, or they'll just tell you these stats to prove a point, but they never say, well, it could get better, it could get things like this go up and down, and then you have to figure out if you're like me with a social scientific mind, like what causes the decrease? What causes the upcrease? What's the difference? You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, and this little slide shows the average length of a first marriage that ends in divorce is 7.8 years for men and 7.9 years for women. You know, I could have went 3, 4, but if you had learned your lesson the first time, I was just playing. But this also gives this slide also gives stats on the verse by numbers and first, second, third marriages. Even the years in a sense. It also tells the common reasons. It's amazing how lack of commitment is like 73%. You know what I'm saying? The most common reason. So what does that tell you? And you basically put these dots together, and then you sort of get an idea of what's going on and why it's going on and what's happening. You can solve problems by knowing all this information. You know what I'm saying? These things should solve problems, address a problem, find out the problem, then work to solve the problem and let it be fixed. But hey, it is what it is. So now, if a man take a wife and she bear him children, and that woman die, and after her death he take another wife and she bear him children, and later the father died, the children and the mothers shall not divide the estate. Of the mothers shall not divide the estate. They shall receive the dowries of their respective mothers, and they shall divide equally the goods of the house of the father. So, what you have in modern times, estate disputes between children and maybe the mothers of the children, you know what I'm saying? This, like I said, addresses the problem, solves the problem, in a balance and equal fair. So there is no emotional, well, we're the first batch of kids, we should get more. Everybody get their equal share. You know what I'm saying? You get your mother's diary, you get your mother's diary, and then y'all divide everything equally. You know what I'm saying? And then it just bam, book, finito. Ain't no, you drop the mic on that one. You got a problem with it. Ain't no dispute, ain't no court of appeals. We ain't taking this to the Supreme Court. We ain't going to the appellate court on this one. I'm talking about. No, that's what it is, and that's what it's gonna be. At least when it comes to the code that Robert, it's just a little bit simpler. What I'm talking about. Okay. Also, this comes from the I Knew way when it comes to children. Children are the expression of the love that exists between marital partners. When love binds individuals, it is a private experience. The production of offspring now sends the love event into the world. Children are the fruit of a homestead. As we are told, a tree is known by the fruit that it bears. Family is known by the children that it bears. So if your kids is fighting over inheritance and things like that, tell something about your family in your household. Everything should be unified and kept in unity. You know what I'm talking about? And if that ain't happening, you got some teaching to do. So we gonna go in a little bit more. This one I got video that's about to show is with I don't want to, but we just gonna say Dr. Broody because I can say it, but then I it's the M silent. I ain't about to do it, so we're gonna do it with Dr. Broody. Chief say that's his help. What I'm talking about, but yeah, so let's go.
There are a number of things here.
So
But first and
this is
foremost are
part
the
of
politics of the individuals.
complementarity.
If you two don't have the same mission, then it ain't happening. It's just gonna be strife. Every couple needs an umbrella mission, an umbrella philosophy, something that is greater than them, something that no matter how many tremendous trifles occur, something that no matter what happens, they will still be together because this is more important. People used to ask, and I said, why, how, what allowed you all to stay together so long? I said, because first and foremost, African people were our priority. It was our priority before we met. I just don't think that I was that clear on it. She was clear on it. So that, no matter what happened, is going to keep it together. No matter how many times I get ticked off, get in the car, drive for 4 or 5 hours so I can cool off. No matter how many times she gets ticked off, goes into a room, slams the door, turns on the television, sits there for 4 or 5 hours, we know that she's not going anywhere and neither am I. Because we are trying to do a revolution. And that can't stand in the way. So the politics aren't in agreement, then the relationship isn't going to last. That applies to whoever, Negroes, lost souls, Euros, whatever. If the politics aren't on the same plane, then the relationship is not going to last. Politics have to be on accord. They have to be on accord. They determine the longevity of the relationship. You have to have the understanding. There also has to be a joint vision that's a part of this, where you all understand, at least as warriors, African warrior scholars, you have to have a joint vision, and I believe there are 4 parts of this joint vision. Molefe Asante also has 4, and they're a little bit different. I argue that you have to have, both individuals have to know who their enemy is. That has caused at least one divorce in the Atlanta African Center community this year because there was confusion about who the enemy was. And one individual thought that the enemy was their friend. And they had concealed that for a long time because they wanted to keep the person that they were with. Deceit is ugly in relationships. It's real ugly. Secondly, they must believe in the rearing of African children. And I'm not putting these in any kind of particular order, but they must believe in the rearing of African children. Not the raising of them, but the rearing of African children. Marie Evans made the distinction. She said raising African children means that you provide for their basic needs, their food, their clothes, their shelter. You get them to school and back home. Take them to soccer practice. Get them to widescreen TV. Rearing African children means that you teach them who they are and about their power and what they need to be responsible to, along with the food and the shelter and the clothing and the widescreen TV. There's a major difference. We've had people tell us in raising our daughter, she understood what the Ma'afa was about, the Middle Passage slavery, by the time she hit the 1st grade. And she would tell me when I was giving her too much information. She understood that she could say, Dad, next year on this one. And she would do that. She understood that was okay because I understood that I was taking it too far or beyond her understanding. And that was cool. And we have people who would tell us, well, aren't you turning her against white folks? Aren't you making her life miserable? Won't she grow up to be, a sourpuss? And you have your children watching X-Men cartoons. You have Bert and Ernie cutting, slicing, and dicing people. You got them going to the movies watching blood and sex, and that's better than this? You teach your child about being African first. You give them our classics. You got to give them somebody else's classics for them to understand, as if Du Bois couldn't write, as if Wright couldn't write. You got a whole collection of scholars. Give them some Octavia Butler, N. Xavier Alexander, Sam Greenlee. You got a whole list of scholars that we have that they can read about who we are. It's sad that we think we got to go to somebody else to get classics. Number 3, both must humbly accept the role of being a worker. We have to be seen. We have to be applauded instantly. We have to have results instantly. Workers understand their mission. They don't need to be seen. If you're doing your work, you will be seen. But they have to understand the importance of being workers. Carter G. Woodson said we have too many leaders, not enough workers. I wonder why that's not quoted out of the Miseducation of the Negro. And finally, we have to have, both have to prize a vision of victory. You have to not just believe that we can win, which is what I used to say, and I was corrected by elders who told me, no, you say we are winning. Most of your motivational speakers will tell you, you don't talk about or affirm that you're going to become a doctor. You don't affirm that you're going to become a lawyer. You don't affirm that you become an architect. You don't affirm that you're going to become a revolutionary. You say, I am an architect. I am a doctor. I am a lawyer. I am a revolutionary. You tell yourself that, and then your mind, whose mission it is to do whatever you tell it to, will find the way to make you into that. It will find the resources. It'll put you into the right books. It'll get you to the right people to be that. When you tell it what it is. This thing works for you. We act somehow that like this, we work for this. This works for you. It's a paid employee. You feed it every day. Your mind is supposed to do your work, your bidding. It works for you. It was given to you to do your work. So you tell it what you want. And it will find a way to get it to you in the time that it can. You can't always operate, it can't always operate on your schedule. Sometimes you're not ready for it. I have a sign behind my computer that says my ancestors gave me everything that I needed when I was ready. When I was ready. Not when I wanted it, because most of the time when I want it, I'm not ready for it. Just like a lot of brothers want polygamy, but they ain't ready. Mentally, financially, physically, spiritually, they're not ready. There's nothing wrong with that because that's part of our traditions, but most of us aren't ready. We're ready for maybe serial monogamy, more game playing, less boredom, but we're not ready for the responsibilities that come with that. I'm having a hard enough time handling one woman. Or should I say she's having a hard enough time handling me?
All right. No. Dr. Brew just giving them straight facts. I sometimes, you gotta put the elders up there, you know what I'm talking about, to say it better than you can. You know what I'm saying? It's already been said anyway. And I didn't say it first. I didn't, so just go to the source, Simple as that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you gotta have, a vision, a purpose, you know what I'm talking about, that can unite both parties, you know what I'm talking about. And man, I totally agree with that, you know what I'm saying. And the rearing, man, when did I learn the difference between the rearing and raising? Yeah, I think yeah. Sociology. Yeah, sociology 101, I think. Yep. I heard that there was a difference between rearing and raising black children. Didn't know there was a difference too, But yes, there definitely is a difference. And most will probably focus on the raising more than the rearing. You know what I'm saying? And I totally was feeling about teaching your children. We just gonna say the culture, because that really is the culture. You know what I'm talking about? My father found out that I had a love for Malcolm X, he gave me Malcolm X books. You know what I'm saying? When he found out that, and I would just come to him and, Daddy, did you know this about Malcolm X? You know this about Malcolm X? You know this about Martin Luther King? You know this? He was like, oh, here, give me things to read, and books, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. And talking about being a worker, man, and I find the best clips. I be trying, let me tell you, I be like, should I put this in? Should I not put this in? Is this gonna work? This not gonna work. Are they gonna feel it? Or they not gonna feel it? I just put it out there, what I'm talking about. Sometimes, you gotta ask that girl to dance and be willing to be rejected. That's the best way I can put it. But yeah, man. You just put in work. Oh man, you ain't seeking glory, you know what I'm talking about? Because you gonna get seen. There's I think I did well, there's like this part. It's like a game movie, but it's called Klingon Academy, right? And it's acted by General Chang, the actual guy that did General Chang in the Undiscovered Church, Undiscovered Country by in the movie Star Trek, right? And he talks about about being Klingon and not seeking glory, because that deals with vanity. Klingons ain't about vanity, he's like, man, a true warrior don't seek glory, because glory will find him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, if you really about that work, if you really about that, you ain't seeking glory. You ain't seeking to be seen. You put in the work, you gonna be seen. Even by the chick that's choosing. You know what I'm saying? She gonna make me. Well, hush, love. Anyway. So, but yeah. So moving on. So as you see, like, share, and subscribe, hit that bell icon, so you can get notifications, Now, if a man who has brought a present to the house of his father-in-law and has given the marriage settlement a look with longing upon another woman, and say to his father-in-law, I will not take thy daughter, the father of the daughter shall take to himself whatever was brought to him. So you had to change your heart. You take what was brought. That's your father, your first covering. If he's like, I won't take your daughter. Now, if a man bring a present to the house of his father-in-law and give a marriage settlement, and the father of the daughter say, I will not give thee my daughter, he, i.e. the father-in-law, or in example, the father-in-law shall double the amount which was brought to him and return it. Yeah. You saying you ain't giving it back, you got to give back the gifts, donations. You know what I'm talking about? You got to give all that back. So, okay. Now, if a man bring a present to the house of his father-in-law and give a marriage settlement, and his friend slander him, and if his father-in-law say to the claimant for the wife, my daughter thou shalt not have, he, the father-in-law, shall double the amount which was brought to him and return it. But his friend may not have his wife. So what that's saying is, I'm talking about, you courting or patrolling to a chick, and your friend throwing salt on your dang on game, C blocking. like some, like some males do, C blocking, running interference, not giving a block, but running interference. You know what I'm talking about? On your game, you know what I'm saying? Then, you are entitled to double what you brought, you know. But your friend don't get he don't get the woman. He may have been trying for the chick and oh no, because that already warrants you not worthy of her if you throwing salt on another man's game. I mean, that makes you look weak. You ain't doing, who would here I go. Who would take a throne by force when he earned by deeds? 10 Commandments. For this in Ethiopia, your name should be put on every pylon. You Ramses, but he showed up did throw salt on Moses' game. You Ramses will not. For this, I believe you have judged your brother well. But yeah, flag on the play, passing interference, called on the offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat first down, man. So yeah, man, it happens, man. Hey. So now, if a man take a wife and she bear him children, and that woman die, her father may not lay claim to her dowry. Her dowry belongs to her children. Like I said before, man, you got family members that'll try to take what is supposed to be your children's inheritance. So this law speaks to that. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't your father's not taking your dowry. It belongs to your children. Now, here we go. Give me one sec. Let me get this. Now, this is with Dr. Neely Fuller, you know what I'm talking about? And he gonna go in on it, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I give that illustration in the book. We call everything love. We say we make love, that's sexual intercourse. That's not making love, that's sexual intercourse. There is no definition for love. We don't even know what it is. We have affection. That's as close as we can get under this system. A decent definition, a true definition for love is yet to be manufactured, because we yet have to have a situation that you can measure it. You can't measure it. There's no way to measure it under this system. Because you can't have love. Where's the logic? You can't have love without justice. In an unjust system, there's no way that you can have it. That's why we call everything love. Sex is love. We're making love. You're not making love. You're just having sex. See? I killed her because I loved her. All right, thank you. Guy stand right there in court. Why'd you kill her? Well, I killed her because I loved her. That doesn't even compute. That doesn't make sense. You killed her because you loved her. And you're still here. What would you do with somebody you hated? See what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Woman, before you leave here, you're going to tell me you love me. I'm going upside your head. Okay. There's an old saying. I think it's a song. I told you that I loved you, now get out. It's no good. People tell you that they love you on their own. If you got to ask, forget it. Whatever that's supposed to mean, let them do it.
Okay. What is love? I had to put it. I had to, come with that wit. But yeah, man, baby, don't hurt me. I look, it ain't from my generation, no way. But I do remember the dang on infomercials when that song played on a dead Saturday Night Live. But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about. But no. So I thought Hopper said, the U.S. court system should follow the code of Hammurabi. Well, so I thought Hopper, they ain't gonna do it no way. One, they didn't create it. Two, I can't say what I want to say, but that's some black people stuff. They ain't gonna follow no. And number three, all the laws they have were to subjugate you. One, they want to do it just because they don't believe it. Another one, but yeah, season man, we ain't following that. Unsinkable. I know what I'm doing. What I'm saying? They ain't gonna do it, man. You know what I'm talking about? Why would they follow that? No, that's your stuff. That's your stuff. I mean, yeah, we'll take from you, but we ain't gonna let us know that we took from you. That right there, we gonna change it. You know what? It's not like the code of Hammurabi and modern ancient law. It's not taught in Western schools. They know about it. They know about it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna follow it though. Like, yeah, that's a nice idea. But the Romans are on to something, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Romans, them Brits, they're on to something. That Magna Carta now. English common law, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, man. There's a bunch of laws, man. You know what I'm saying? But something where there's actual consequence, and they may get actually put on trial and actually have to deal with those consequences. No. In the manual, no, we cannot. Look, it's even in dang on gangs in New York. The appearance of the law must be upheld, especially when it's being broken. Especially when it's being broken by them. You know what I'm saying? You can't even get dang on convictions with their own laws. What makes you think that your law is gonna convict them? Unless you enforcing them and you bring them under. Well, that goes with conquering and expansion. Just saying, unless you want some conquering type stuff, unless you really go to whoa and win, then you can bring in any type of law you want, unless you in the taking game. We taking, you know what I'm talking about. Let's go. So okay, but if a man take a wife and she does not present him with children, and that woman died, if his father-in-law returned to him the marriage settlement which that man brought to the house of his father-in-law, her husband may not lay claim to the dowry of that woman. Her dowry belongs to the house of her father. Sometimes that happens. You got to remember that in these times, and even in the until like the 21st century, life expectancy for men and women were totally different, especially when it comes to life expectancy for women. Anything kill y'all, especially childbirth. Malaria, black plague, some get you. You know what I'm saying? The Inquisition, some get you. So you gotta you gotta be careful. But yeah, man. A witch trial or two, you'll be okay. Or not. But yeah, man. So, um, if his father-in-law do not return to him that marriage settlement, he may deduct from her dowry the amount of the marriage settlement and return the rest of her dowry to the house of her father. We take it back tax. What I'm saying? Deduct that from from the severance package, okay? But yeah, man, you know. But this also shows that there's um no love lost, no emotional um warfare between houses. You know what I'm talking about? You know, I give you, what was given, and there's a settlement, and if you can't give it to me, I just take it out the dowry, and then we go our separate ways, but there's no disunity, there's no non community after a union's been severed in a way like this, you know what I'm saying? So for sure. Now, if a man take a wife and she bear him children, and that woman die, and after her death he take another wife and she bear him children, and later the father died, the children of the mother shall not divide the estate. They shall receive the dowries of their respective mothers, and they shall divide equally the goods of the house of the father. This will come with something more, but yeah. Now we go back on break. We gotta have a video break. Can't just give y'all, straight writing. But we getting into Dr. Amos Wilson, you know what I'm talking about.
You cannot be filled with hatred and hostility toward yourself and love somebody else in a healthy manner. You can only get to know other people through knowing yourself. It is through the self that you reach others. You will only, though, get to know yourself if you're surrounded by people who love you and love you in a healthy sort of way. As we shall see, when you're around people who don't love you in a healthy sort of way, you're going to hide parts of yourself from yourself. You're going to become blind to parts of yourself. You're going to be caught up in the emotions of hatred and hostility and revenge and resentment, and your energy and your tension is going to be caught up in those nasty emotions, and you're going to be a nasty person as a result thereof. And as I'll show you in a minute, you're going to be able to love. You're going to be able to, with all of this nastiness, because nasty people do fall in love. Okay? Hateful people fall in love, and we'll see. But we'll see in a minute, it's going to be a peculiar kind of love. It's going to be a love, ultimately, though, that's going to destroy them and the people they love. Many people, I would say a large percentage of children and wives and husbands are destroyed in the name of love. I'm doing this to you because I what? Love you. And yet, when you look at what's being done, it's often projecting hate, but hate covered with a veneer of love. So then, love that comes from love permits the self and other people to develop. Love that comes from love is liberating. Love that comes from love permits other people to develop their potential. We will see later on that love that comes from hate is love that's destructive, is love that restricts, is love that's possessive, is love that makes the other person a servant of oneself, is love that ultimately degrades other individuals. You see, so in a family, a child has to be raised with love and in a loving sort of way, so that when it loves, it then will create more lovely people and lovely children. Let's look a moment then at the hate instinct. We talked about the love instinct or the life instinct, and now let's look at the death instinct. And there is a death instinct within us. Freud talks about it as saying,
So yeah, man, like But that day was becoming with it, man. It's like, you know, from a psychological standpoint, which is wonderful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, people look, they do crazy things and they say they love you. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to rearing children, like chiefs say, you know, you wouldn't do certain things if you love your children. You know what I'm saying? You know, you wouldn't give them certain things if you love them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. Albert Ross, you know, he always goes in. You know that. See, yeah, that's Hattiesburg right there. You know, but yeah, you know, I always say it thank you kindly. You know, so yeah, you know. But yeah, hate covered with the vanilla. Look, some people say they love you and they really hate you. You know, and you, as you observe people more, you will be like, you don't love me. You really hate me. You know, maybe that goes with maybe a person's psychological history. You know what I'm saying? You know, where they probably love someone, and then because of that love or that disappointment and things like that, they hate uh that projection of said archetype. I'll say may love the man and now they hate men. I don't know. He went through something. So many dang on reasons. Human beings are well, but say human beings are screwed up. But we got a few screws used in the head. We a little bit crazy now. In these times, these just But yeah. Right. No. So now if a man's wife bear him children, and his maidservant bears him children, and the father during his lifetime say to the children with which the maidservant bore him, my children, not maid, but my children, and reckon them with the children of his wife. After the father dies, the children of the wife and the children of the maidservant shall divide the goods of the father house equally. The child of the wife shall have the right of choice at the division. Okay. Yeah, and McQueen projection does mean something that isn't real. You know what I'm saying? Look, I can't. Okay, example. I can't hold if it's. I'm wrong, but I can't hold like if say well say if I be the girl, right? I can't hold her to the standard of physically I can't hold her to the standard of a Megan Thee Stallion. It's Texas. Don't worry, it's Texas. That's all I can say. It's about the Texas girls, but I can't. It's like yeah, but your tongue ain't long enough. Say, get that you know what I'm saying? She don't do it like Megan Thee Stallion do. You see, I'm projecting. And her name may be her name, her name may be Tina, who knows, but I projected, or how some women say I want a guy that's 6'4", making 6 figures. That's projecting. How you gonna be 6'4"? I mean, we look. Before we were born, we just say, "Oh, I want to be 6'4", and we all was 6'4". There'll be no whatever, But that's projecting. You know what I'm saying? I'm projecting. I want a black woman with long silky hair. Projecting. She can get that with a with the daggone bundles, but you know what I'm projection. That is an example of projection. Forcibly projecting that on your mate to be some type of archetype they can't even fulfill. You know what I'm saying? See, like in the verse video, like she was saying, she's pointing standards to him, he cannot, and vice versa. It happens, man. Just saying, All right, just alone. But if the father during his lifetime have not said to the children, which the maid servant bore up, my children, after the father dies, the children of the maid servant shall not share the goods of the father's house with the children of the wife. The maid servant and her shall be given their freedom. The children of the wife may not lay claim to the children of the maidservant for service. The wife shall receive her dowry and the gift which her husband gave and deeded to her on a tablet, and she may dwell in the house of her husband and enjoy the property as long as she lives. She cannot sell it, however, for after her death, it belongs to her children. Oh, someone's trying to out a standard on another that someone else may have. No, it's one thing to hold a standard. It's not holding a standard like, I don't deal with liars. That's a standard. You know what I'm saying? But if I say, like I said, because I'm a guy and I'm, physical, you know what I'm saying? I may want a chick, like, okay, I'm not going to use name this time. Don't want to use that one. Now, nah. But you may like a girl with some tea, and she may be an A cup. That's projecting, and then you may, want her to get surgical enhancements because you like girls with tea, or you may like a chick with A and you be giving, BBL. Like, I mean, that's projecting. But if you hold somebody to a standard, you know what I'm saying, that's not projecting. A standard of, a righteous standard of, I only deal with, women that I feel with just coming up with stuff off the top of my dome, something like that. You know what I'm saying? I only mess with chicks that cover their hair. That's a standard. You know what I'm saying? I only mess with chicks that cover the whole body. That's a standard. You know what I'm saying? They don't go out the house walk, with looking like certain things. So yeah. That's the standard, but projection, that you're literally given into an illusion. You know what I'm saying? G, yo, Master Middle, tell me why I came up with a bar, right? I have to tell you later about that bar, but when it came to the BBLs, but it just came to me one day. But yeah, I came up with a bar, but I ain't about to spit it now. Okay, so one thing that I thought was similar to this situation is basically Sarah and Hagar and Isaac and Ishmael. You know what I'm saying? Where you do have the wife and maidservant. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's more than one. There is more than one. But yeah, and so I quoted Genesis 17:19, then God said, no, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, um, and with his descendants, after him. So they're always speaking of inheritance, the inheritance of basically you could say the legal son in a sense, son of the legal wife. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceeding 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But as you can see, the inheritance, the division of at least the spiritual inheritance or whatever, is totally different. You know what I'm saying? That's Genesis 17:20. But that I want to give you a similar case where you can point to. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? So yeah. Now, if a man sets his face to disinherit his son and say to the judges, I would disinherit my son, the judges shall inquire into his antecedents, and if the son have not committed a crime sufficiently grave to cut him off up from sonship, okay, and that father may not cut off his son from sonship. See, So yeah, you could really they say this on your son, but yeah, you could cut him off from sonship. Man, our sonship is over with. You know what I'm saying? Now if he have committed a crime against his father sufficiently grave to cut him off from sonship, they shall condone first offense. If he commit a grave crime a second time, the father may cut off his son from sonship. So I forgive you for the first offense, but if you create give it a second time, I got to cut you off. I can cut you off. I have legal grounds to cut you off. Done, son. Done. So, what I thought about when this happened was Jake. Hey, I'm telling you, I've been on Joseph and the Meg take go drink, but only from a troll standpoint. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm like, yo, you know what need to be a new rendition? This right here, man. Just have all of us in it and make it all fly like the winds. Oh man, that'll really make a bad. That's like my evil troll. I can already see it, But yeah, like when Ruben, he sleeps with Billa, okay, that's the first offense. Then, he basically is an accessory to, the so-called slang and selling Joseph into servitude. Second offense. You know what I'm saying? So by that law, you know what I'm saying, then, you have all the sons, by that law, first offense, that's the grounds, of what Israel or Yaqub, could do, in regards to the offenses of the son, but yeah, I just wanted to show that as an example, you know what I'm talking about? So yeah. Here we go again.
We don't understand that these relationships are supposed to be about building family, community, and a nation that's going to be powerful. The Iroquois were famous for this, and a lot of our ancestors were famous for this, where they had this 7 generation philosophy, where everything that you did, you thought about its impact 7 generations down the road. So you weren't doing things for you per se. You were doing things in terms of how it would affect your people 7 generations down the road. We have
lost that in this extreme individualism of the West. So many of the things involved in our relationships are caught up in the insanity of the West. We're following a people who don't know what they're doing. We have the adults following the children, and the children don't know where they're going. So we caught up in this super individualism where we can't tolerate anything that does not go our way. That's not how relationships work. It may not be 50-50, but that's not how relationships work. You're not married to yourself. You're not having a relationship with yourself. You have a relationship with another person who is a unique individual just like you. One of the things along the lines of that has to do with romance. And I want to talk about the origins of the word romance coming from Rome, but this idea of romance that we have that is so ephemeral, so short-lived, that we see this person, we get excited about this person, we're infatuated about this person, and then it's gone. It doesn't last long. It's all based upon this materialism where you are supposed to demonstrate your love for this person by how much you can spend on this person. And we've lost it so quick. When I was a child, I was taught regularly, it's not the gift, it's the intent behind the gift. And I'll give an example. I can remember when Enia and I were dating, and we were in grad school, and I had no money. But at that time, I practiced Valentine's Day. At that time, I practiced Christmas. I practiced all of these things. And it was expected on these days that you did something. But I had no money. I was a graduate student. So one Valentine's Day, I went and got some pork sausage. And I took the pork sausage, and I rolled it out, and I cut out parts, and I fried her some pork sausage. She was, ecstatic about the idea that I had taken the time to think about that to that degree. I know it was stupid, but at that time, that was all that I had. Her mother appreciated me because I went and bought her some long underwear because we lived in Chicago, and her mother understood I was more concerned about her health than about her showing off someplace. We have lost that. To me, that was normal and natural because that was the way I was raised. We have to raise our children the same way. We have to reverse this process, this materialism, people going into debt to impress somebody that they love them. People having to say to somebody 40,000 times a day, I love you. If you do, then that'll be evident in what you do for that person. I love you while I'm smacking you upside the head. I love you while I'm treating you like this. I love you while I'm cheating on you. That's not love. Love is supposed to be an act. It's supposed to be what you do. Now, I am not saying that romance is not part of our tradition. We are human beings. When an African man meets an African woman, more than likely, if there's some interest, then there's some infatuation involved. You like what you see. Nobody wants to get up in the morning and look at something that they can't stand. You like what you see. But our approach to it was very, very different. It was not based upon materialism. It was based upon what I can do for you, how I can show you respect, the amount of protection that I have for you. One of the perfect models of that is the Akan culture, where in their homes, the man always sleeps on the outside. And it's like these traditions follow us and we don't know these Africanisms that follow us here and we don't think about it. My father always slept on the side of the bed that was closest to the door. Always. And I always sleep on the side of the bed that's closest to the door because they're supposed to have to get to you before they get to her. Oh, I'm sorry. We changed the definition of what it means to be a man. We're supposed to be males now, so it doesn't make a difference. Yes, it does. It makes a major difference. But the Akan people, it would describe it and they would say, the woman, when she had to get up out of the bed to go do something, whatever it was, she would wake him because she had to crawl over him in order to get out of the bed. That's how secure she was. In order to get to her, you really literally had to get through him to get to her. That's one of the things that needs to be brought back. The idea that somebody's tearing through the door downstairs in the house at 3 o'clock in the morning and you ask her, could you go check who, see what that is? Something is really wrong with that picture. Something is very wrong with that picture. In the West, romance, because there is this extreme competition, between people, between men and women, to see who's going to be on the top, to see who's going to win, to see who's going to have the final say in the decision. But this is a very hateful competition. So romance allows, you can look at it this way, it allows there to be peace enough for there to be procreation. Otherwise, it's just a constant battle between the men and women. Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who's going to have this? So it creates a safe space for that. This idea of love also, which is extremely problematic within the Western context. And when we say something is problematic in the Western context, people who don't want to think about it, they say, oh, well, you're saying that romance didn't exist among African people because you're saying something's wrong with it. Oh, you're saying Africans didn't love each other because you're saying something's wrong with it. No, I'm saying something is wrong with it in the Western context. Not traditionally, but within the Western context. So when we talk about love within the Western context, then we're talking about this infatuation, this quick, I fell in love with you immediately. Our ancestors understood that love was something that took some time. It took a long time. It was described as like climbing a mountain. When you got to the top, after all those years of being with that person, when you meet somebody, you may think that you trust them, but you really have no idea whether that person will die or kill for you. When you know, I'm talking about when you guess and when you think. When you know that that person will live and or die for you, then you have love. I said love doesn't come to you've been with a person for a long time. It's not a short thing, but because we're in the West has redefined things so that it can play these games with our pockets. It's the same thing when we're dealing with being a human being. Our ancestors did not call you a human being when you were born. You were a person, but you weren't a human being. Human being was something that you earned through your actions. So if you acted like a human being, if you matured like a human being, then you were qualified to be called a human being. The West has redefined that so you can have people like serial killers being called human beings. Okay? So we have to understand the context of what we're talking about, the difference between Western society and African society. In case anyone is confused, I'm an African, and I'm assuming everyone else here is. And if we're calling ourselves Africans, then that ought to be the tradition that we look to in terms of defining who we are and what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to act. No one else's tradition will suffice. No one else's tradition is correct for us. Europeans don't look to African traditions to figure out who they are, who they're supposed to be. They look to their ancestors. We should look to our ancestors accordingly. I wanted to start this out a little differently. When I was in DC doing a lecture early.
All right. And now Dr. Brody again, coming forward with that light. You know what I'm talking about? Like I say, you can see it better than me, like, and I can, you know what I'm saying? And Sovereignty says, medicine in the room with Elder M. Bomani Baruti, Dr. Amy Wilson, and Dr. Milford. Mine, well, I'm not going to be talking. But if I am, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real country with Dr. Amy Wilson. But I would do that with Dr. John Henry Clark and Chance Williams, and them people. You know what I'm talking about? I'll be getting real country. You know what I'm talking about? But then I wouldn't even be talking. Be like, I just have a bunch of questions, you know what I'm talking about. I just be flying the wall, not even talking, just writing, listening, taking notes, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, you know what I'm talking about. And things like that, man. I just man, scholarly giants, just don't know. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man. So that was that. That was the mic drop. You know what I'm saying? Since we are at the end, you know what I'm talking about. So Join us next time. Join us next strong when we will continue the code of Hammurabi, but we are going into properties. You know what I'm talking about, and that would be basically the final segment of the code of Hammurabi. We could go on longer, but we got to move on to something else. We got to move on to something else. You know what I'm talking about, which we will. So, but like I said, next strong, we getting into properties, and then man, we got new segments lined up, man. We got Ask Softa, Ask Ava. It's gonna be real interesting. You know what I'm talking about. Then we got same thing, Shamanu, and then we got midday affirmations. Look, they coming back. So look, we got Sister Maria coming through with the meditations. We got we got we got because I want to look. I'm searching for a name because I want to call her. Why I usually call her Alien. We got Alien over there with who just dropped one. About public health 101. You know what I'm saying? I can't help it sometimes, but it's a chunk to get at. But we got Alien, with who dropped public health 101, and just dropped it, not too long ago. So man, we got a lot of things to work. The train, we expand around here. We expand around here, chill. I'm gonna say it like that. We expand around here, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, give thanks everybody. Like I said, we will see you next strong. You know what I'm talking about. And look, we like always, we enjoy y'all. Enjoy you strong. Rest you strong. If enjoy. If you got any more challenges, keep on going with. You know what I'm talking about. So for sure. So give thanks, and we will see y'all next strong. All right, peace.